Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wineman TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We work hard for our money. We want to get a good bottle of wine for it. So, today I will review some wines from Portugal. And as far as values go, probably in my opinion, probably the three areas in the world right now where some of the greatest values are coming from are, of course, Argentina, Chile, well I should say four areas, Argentina, Chile, Spain, and then Portugal. And you get some amazing wines from Portugal. And I'm not talking port. We know port is a sweet wine. A lot of people love it. I love port. I don't even review port because, it's sweet wine. I mean, I really struggle as a critic understanding, I guess, and maybe I should practice more, but really the nuances of a sweet wine, what makes it better than another wine, whether you like. I have tasted a drier style port, which was interesting, and it helped me because I was able to help customers, find the right kind of port. But that being said, Portugal produces a boatload of great red wines and white wines that are not port. And they have these two regions I'm doing today are Douro and Alentejo. And Alentejo, of course, is a region down further south of Portugal. Portugal is a small country. You can travel the whole country in less than a day. It's incredible, but very, very beautiful area. I was actually in Alentejo back in September, and I thought it looked a lot like Eastern Washington until we got up to Porto, which is the Douro is an amazing different area with the steep mountains and the Douro River carving up both sides of the mountains. Amazing place to go to visit. So let's get started. The first one, wouldn't you know it, I didn't put pricing on these. Great. I'm going to give you ballparks on these. This is the Montevideo Red 2013 Vinho Regional Alentejo, Portugal. So this is from that area I was talking about. This is a blend of Aragonés, 40%, Trincadeira, 35%, 20% Touriga Nacional, and 5% Syrah. And this is from Esporao Winery. And by the way, Aragonés is Tempranillo. Tempranillo, by the way, FYI, has more synonyms probably than any grape in the wine world. There's a million names. Well, a million, I'm exaggerating of course, but there's a ton of names for Tempranillo, and Aragonés is one of those. So, I'll give you a little close-up of the label. This runs in at about $12. Give or take. No, very close to 12 bucks a bottle. Got the label there. So I think a lot of people might avoid Portuguese wines because they're not familiar with the varietals, which I totally get. I mean, you're looking at the label going, what the heck is Trincadeira, and what is this, and what is that? Really, these wines, in fact, Esporao, I got to visit Esporao. I thought it was an amazing winery, and they had one vineyard that they had over 180 varietals planted just to experiment about what kind of varietals could grow in this region. So very cutting-edge winery, and David Baverstock is the winemaker there. He oversees all, they have a red and white winemaker. But very cutting-edge, David Baverstock. I think I'm going to have a chance to interview him coming up later this year. And, amazingly calm guy, very calm, cool, collected, and it shows in the winery. I mean, people there, we were there at harvest and you could barely tell it was harvest. I mean, it was just so well run, so smoothly run, very cool facility. And anyway, my point about the varietals is they make great wines, and it doesn't matter what the varietal is as long as the wines are good. That's really the point. And if you want to take the time to find out about these varietals, that's great. I encourage it, do a little research. But it's not necessarily a necessity. You don't have to understand these grapes. All you have to understand is that Portugal is pumping out some great wines from grapes that you've never heard of. Many of them I've never heard of. but they're great, and they're inexpensive. This is 12 bucks. Let's see what we get on the nose. Right off the bat, I get blackberries, I get crushed rock, I get a little bit of violets, some red flowers coming through. Get some cassis. What I love about this wine is very aromatic. I get all these great fruit flavors, but you get that underlying kind of crushed rock minerality that comes through. And Portugal is definitely old world, so those old world qualities come through on the nose, but yet at the same time you get those red flowers, you get that fruit coming through, the cassis, the blackberries. Get a little bit of hint of black olive coming through. And dare I say, a little bit of chocolate. So let's see what we get on the palate. So right off the bat, I'm calling this a food wine. It's got good acidity. The minerality comes through big time. The red flowers come through big time. The cassis comes through big time. This is not one of those wines you can just sit out on the deck and sip. Unless you like this style of wine, then I encourage it. Absolutely. I can drink this one on the deck. But it does have enough acidity that you want to have food with it. You want to have a burger. You want to have some pizza. You want to have a steak. All of those things this wine would do well with. Very nice balance across the palate, nice finish. The finish is actually, the acidity kind of melds into this black olive, red flower, sort of, I'm going to say cassis cherry sort of thing coming through. So if you're looking for a fruit bomb, lots of fruit, this is not the wine to go. This is sticking to the true old world style, but it's not dirty like a Bordeaux. It's definitely clean, finished, lots of red flowers, lots of good things to it. I'm going to go B+ on that wine. I think it's a great bottle of wine. Like I said, great for burgers. You're barbecuing burgers, you're doing some ribs out on the barbecue, you're doing some steaks. This would be even good with grilled chicken. It would be really good with that. The tannins aren't overbearing. The acidity good. I mean, this would, with barbecue sauce, seriously, this would be very, very nice. And for 12 bucks, great bottle of wine. I'm going B+ on that. If you really want to be introduced to old world wines, and maybe you've tried a few Bordeaux's. I know my son, Micah, he really has a hard time with Bordeaux because of that mushroom kind of forest floor thing. Go to Portugal because their wines tend to be more on the acidic side. They have the minerality, but they also have the fruit. Really nice combination. Now we're going to the Douro. Tons, Durham, Douro. And this is 2011. And excuse me, but this is, the writing's kind of small, so bear with me. 50% Touriga Franca, 30% Touriga Nacional, and 20% Tinta Ruiz, which is also Tempranillo, if you want to get confused a little bit. Like I said, lots of synonyms, a lot of synonyms for Tempranillo. So Tinta Ruiz up north, Aragonas down south, and the Douro, like I said, beautiful. The river carves through the mountains. They have terraced vineyards going up, I mean steep. And now they're doing some vertical vineyards there. Beautiful, beautiful country. And there's actually 3 sub-regions in Douro. I think it's Cima, Corgo, Baxis Corgo, and Douro Superior are the 3 sub-regions inside the Douro. And they all have, of course, different styles of wine that come from them. And some are considered better than others, of course. And of course they're known, their claim to fame is port. Now, the color on this is amazing. It's just really dark. Let's see what we get on the nose. This rolls in at $12 also. So this is much more brooding on the nose. I get a little barbecue spice coming through. Definitely currants coming through. Less minerality than the Monteviejo. A little bit of chocolate coming through, which I find very interesting. A little bit of, now this one has a little bit of that forest floor element coming through. I definitely get that on the nose. A little bit of vanilla. This very interesting nose. It's like I said, it's a lot deeper, more brooding than the Monteviejo. Let's see what we get on the palate. The acid's there for sure, but not as bright as the Monteviejo. I get more currants on this one for sure. The minerality comes through on the palate big time. The chocolate notes come through. I love it, the chocolate notes coming through. Rose petal big time on the finish. I just get that nice kind of rose petal chocolate. Minerals like you're licking granite. Well, schist in this place. Schist is a big rock component that's up in Portugal big time. In fact, I was in a vineyard up there where they had actually schist posts for their vineyard lines. Amazing. This has great balance. This has great depth. Some sweet tannins coming through. This is a nice this is what I'd call a nice crossover wine. If you're looking for Old World, this has enough fruit. I get some nice currants and blackberries, really ripe blackberries coming through right on the mid palate. A long finish. It's weird because I'm getting like, I have that minerality in my mouth, but at the same time I can taste that fruit right on the backside, which is really cool. I'm even getting violets front to back. Just a hint of licorice. Beautiful wine. Going B+ on the Monteviejo. I have to go A- on this wine. It's an incredible wine for the money. Tons Durum from the Douro. Great bottle of wine. 2011. I'm not sure if that's still available. I've had this wine, I pulled this out of my rack. I might have had it for about 6 months or so. Hopefully you can get your hands on it. It's a great bottle of wine. The finish is still going, which is absolutely incredible. I'm amazed. Now, back to Esporao. This is their 2010 Reserva Red. And once again, I have to look. The printing is so small. This is Aragones, Trincadero, Alicante Boucher, and Cabernet Sauvignon. And they do not give the percentages on this one, but at least they give you the grapes. So this runs in about $26. This is one of their higher tier wines, and they change the label all the time. This is their current label. They have an artist, a local artist, contribute to this label. Kind of really cool label. I'm not into the art world, but you can see that label. So this has a little bit of cab in it. There's a varietal. You go, oh, finally I get a varietal I understand. Also has Alicante Boucher, which is a varietal, one of the few, if, I don't know, they say there's more than one. I've done some research. I did some research with an acquaintance of mine, and we could not find another grape other than Alicante Boucher that produces red juice. All other red grapes produce white juice. How do they get the color? You might ask. You leave the juice on the skins, and the skins, the juice extracts the color from the skins. Whew, didn't think I could spit that one out. So this has a little bit of a grape that actually produces red juice. Alicante Boucher is a thicker skinned grape. It actually provides a lot of color. This is even darker than the one from the Douro. This is from Alentejo, that area I was talking about, down by Evora. Let's see what we get on the nose. Talk about brooding. This has seriously got some depth to the nose. Definitely getting licorice and tobacco and currants. The oak, there's definitely oak there, but it's very subtle. There's almost like a cherry liqueur, sort of a kirsch sort of thing going on in this wine. And I'm even getting a little bit of blueberry coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. That's really an incredible wine. I mean, just the depth of the fruit. I get blueberry, I get cherry, I get currants. It just penetrates the palate and is very, very polished. But right at the end, you get that kind of crushed stone, sort of wet rock thing going on. With the red flowers coming through right on the back end. Get like this sweet tannin right up front. It just kind of fills your palate. Then it starts showing you that it's old world. It starts getting serious, and the tannins are a little bit heavier than either of the other two. It has a nice grip on the back end. Great food wine, but you could sit on the deck with some really good stinky cheese, some nice cheeses, some crackers, and crack this bottle and really enjoy it. It's got that depth, it's got that polish, at the same time it's got that serious edge to it at the end. The food would definitely help. You know, having a little beef jerky with this would be wonderful. Great bottle of wine, really well made. I'm going to have to go A+ on this wine. I really am. I don't do that very often, but this wine will lay down easily 5 to 10 years. It's $26. It's a very reasonable price for a wine of this quality. And if you want to try a really great Portuguese wine from the Alentejo, look no further than Esporao, Reserva. And this is their 2010, but as far as I'm, in my discussions with some of the guys from Portugal, vintage has some variation, but not a huge amount like some areas of the world, and it seems to be fairly consistent, so that's a good thing. Good stuff. Thanks for watching. Remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be willing to expand your palate, but always stay true to your palate. Never let anybody tell you what you should or should not like. And if we do that together, we can take the snob out of wine.